Video game addiction is a growing problem in modern society. While some people are not aware of it, others call video games the new drug. And in 2019, the World Health Organization recognized gaming disorder as a mental health condition. It has officially been added to International Classification of Diseases (ICD-11) in 2022. Unfortunately, video game addiction hasn't always got the attention that it deserves. The mental health experts and research funding focus primarily on other disorders, such as gambling and substance abuse. Even though the field of video game addiction research and treatment is not yet fully developed or understood, there are many high-quality papers and studies into video game addiction statistics, demographics, prevalence rates that provide us the very valuable insight into the depth of the problem. And in this video, we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna take a look at some of the most interesting video game addiction statistics. If you wanna know all about the numbers behind video game addiction, then watch this video. Let's start off with some of the key statistics. Over 2 billion people play video games worldwide, and the number is likely to surpass 3 billion by 2023. 3 to 4% of gamers are addicted to video games. In the 2021 Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis, the global prevalence of gaming disorder was found to be 3.05%. That means that there could be as many as 60 million people or more suffering from gaming disorder. Between 0.3 and 1% of the general population have symptoms associated with gaming disorder. 8.5% of youths aged between 8 and 18 suffer from gaming disorder. 49% of all American adults have played video games, but only 10% consider themselves gamers. Now, if you take a look at the general video game addiction statistics, you can see that millions of people worldwide suffer from gaming disorders. The conservative estimate of addicted gamers is around 60 million. But it doesn't stop there. Gaming as an activity is continuing to grow every single year. In 2015, there were 1.9 billion gamers. But in 2021, there was an estimated 2.81 billion gamers. And by the year 2023, the number is anticipated to surpass 3 billion. This tells us that the number of gamers suffering from gaming disorder is also going to grow each year. But now let's zoom in and take a closer look at video game addiction statistics by age. First of all, 90 to 99% of all American children play video games. Between 48 and 56% of young adults play video games regularly. The average age of a gamer is 35 years old, while the average age of a gaming addict is 24 years old. The majority of gamers are within the age bracket of 18 to 34 years old. 8.5% of children and teens under 18 around the world may be addicted to gaming. The prevalence rate of gaming addiction among teenagers has increased by 4% since 2007. Statistics also tell us that video game addiction is by far the most problematic in people aged between 34 and younger, with an average age of a gaming addict being 24 years of age. And this is a cause for concern, because the percentage of American children that play video games is now 90% or more of all children. More young people are playing video games than ever before, and they're exposed to the risks of video game addiction. Although young adults between 18 and 24 tend to be the ones experiencing the most harm from gaming, such as struggling with college or university, and the problem often develops in adolescence. The problem of gaming addiction among children is so vast in South Korea that the government has introduced a shutdown law, which prevents youths of 16 and under from playing video games between midnight and 6 a.m. There are an estimated 600,000 South Korean children suffering from gaming addiction. One of the crucial challenges we face for the future is preventing and treating gaming and tech addiction in children, which, despite all efforts from the governments worldwide, seems to still be on the rise. Now, let's take a look at statistics by demographics. In the United States, we can see the prevalence of Caucasian gamers at 67%. 15% are Hispanic, while 12% are African American, and 5% are Asian. If you take a look at the distribution of gamers suffering from gaming disorder by ethnicity, you'll find that 69% of all addicts are Caucasian, 13% are Asian, and 18% belong to the category of other. Now, let's take a look at statistics by gender. This one might surprise you. According to a study from 2015 done by PEW Research Center, the distribution of gamers between the two genders is almost even. 50% of gamers are male, while 48% are female. And this distribution by gender might surprise some, as gaming is primarily seen as something that only boys do. However, if you take a look at the gaming disorder statistics by gender, you can see that 94% of all gaming addicts are males, while only 6% of addicts are females. And these numbers tell us that while the number of male and female gamers might be the same on a general level, the number of gaming addicts is currently more male-heavy. But why does this happen? Why are there so many more male gaming addicts than female addicts? This issue might actually be closely related to how males perceive gaming cues in their brains. According to this study from 2018, gaming-related cues elicit higher cravings in male subjects than female subjects. The study found that males had a greater activation in this striatum before gaming, and greater activation in medial frontal gyrus after gaming. This tells us that male gamers are just more likely to get addicted to video games. But another reason for this discrepancy might be due to selective sampling in research studies. It's a little bit similar to ADHD, where females have often been underdiagnosed as they do not display the typical hyperactivity symptoms. Female gamers may simply be underrepresented in the gaming literature as well. Now, let's take a look at statistics by the geographical location. According to Vladimir Pozniak, a researcher for the World Health Organization who focuses on gaming disorder, geographical location has little to no impact on the individual's likelihood of getting addicted. But still, the number of gaming addicts will vary by country. In less developed countries of Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America, the number of gaming addicts may be lower than in Europe, North America, and parts of Asia such as Japan, China, and South Korea. And this may simply be due to greater access to technology. However, the less developed countries are quickly catching up, with global smartphone penetration estimated to be 78% or higher. With technology continuing to accelerate globally, we may see a boom in gaming addicts in the coming years. Although we don't have a lot of data on gaming disorder and its correlation to location, the bottom line is that gaming addiction is present worldwide. And in developing countries, mobile gaming addiction is likely to be higher than computer or console gaming addiction. And the number of gaming addicts in developing countries is anticipated to grow for the years to come. Now, let's take a look at video game addiction in the United States. The most popular games in the US include Super Mario Bros., Angry Birds, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Minecraft, Fortnite, Mortal Kombat, and Roblox. The number of total gamers in the US is still unclear. Some sources say that there are more than 150 million gamers in the United States, although that source goes back to 2015. A more recent report from 2020 states that there are between 64 and 66% of the general American population that play video games. With an estimated 150 to 231 million active gamers in the United States, and global prevalence of gaming disorder between 1.96 and 3%, we estimate that there are between 3 and 6.5 million disordered gamers in the United States. Now let's take a look at Canada. The video gaming industry continues to grow in Canada, contributing 4.5 billion to Canada's GDP in 2019. The vast majority of Canadians aged between 18 and 34 play video games, including 64% of the entire Canadian population, 23 million Canadians who play video games regularly. In 2015, around 19 million Canadians admitted to playing video games regularly or identified themselves as gamers. That number has grown to around 24 million Canadians in 2020, showing that there are more Canadians that are playing video games each year. However, in CAMH study from 2017, almost 12% of all Ontario University students exhibit signs of video game addiction. So, gaming disorder is also on the rise. Video game addiction in Canada is estimated to impact between 470 and 720,000 people, with over 3 million gamers at risk of unhealthy play. Now let's take a look at the UK. In 2020, around 36 million Britons played video games regularly. In terms of percentage of the entire population, that amounts to just slightly less than 50%. 18% of the UK gamers spend 6 hours or longer playing video games daily, and about 30% skipped showers to play video games. The most represented age group is gamers between 13 and 25, and the second most represented group is for people aged between 25 and 34. Alarmingly, up to 93% of UK children play video games in some shape or form. FIFA, Fortnite, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty are UK's most addictive games. However, reports indicate that the number of addicted gamers in the UK has tripled tripled because of the pandemic. With 36 million Britons playing video games regularly, we estimate that between 700,000 and 1 million UK gamers struggle with video game addiction. Now, let's take a look at Australia. 6 in 10 Australians play video games regularly, which is close to 67% of the entire Australian population. The prevalence of playing games is much higher in the younger population. 98% of all households with children have a device to play video games on, and 9 out of 10 of those households have a child that plays video games regularly. This means that up to 90% of Australian children play video games. For all gamers in Australia, the average playing daily time is 89 minutes, which is higher than the recommended limit of 30 to 60 minutes that are in place for children. Playing time seems to be longer for males, who play video games for 98 minutes daily, while females play on average 77 minutes. A recent study done by the Department of Psychological Medicine in Sydney reveals that up to 10% of all Australian gamers were addicted to video games. The age group that is most likely to be addicted to video games is between 18 to 34. However, Australia has also seen the rise of video game addicts that are under the age of 18. Around 78,000 Australian children are estimated to be addicted to video games. In general population, we estimate that between 328 and 502,000 Australian gamers struggle with gaming addiction, with up to 1,675,000 at risk of developing a gaming problem. Now, let's take a look at the United Arab Emirates. In recent years, the video gaming addiction problem is a growing concern for the UAE health authorities. The Department of Health in Abu Dhabi released a statement where it recommended that children's gaming time should be kept under 2 hours daily. This recommendation comes as no surprise, as reports of children spending more than 4 hours a day gaming are cropping up throughout the whole country, which means that stricter measures for controlling video game addiction needs to be put in place. One of the more alarming statistics comes from 2015, where the researchers found that between 56 and 63% of all children in United Arab Emirates spent 3 hours or more daily gaming or doing other activities on their screens. In fact, 50% of all UAE gamers admitted that they have spent more time playing video games because of the pandemic. There's also a sharp increase of at least 15% of new gamers, of which 40% are female. And the vast majority of gamers in the UAE, 70 to 74%, are mobile gamers, while many gamers also play console and PC games. An even more problematic statistic is that up to 91% of all UAE gamers have spent money on in-game purchases within the last 6 months, which shows an alarming correlation between gaming and gambling. We all know about the negative consequences of COVID lockdowns and the mental health of people all over the world. More people spend more time in front of screens, which also includes more people playing video games. And this trend is clearly visible in the UAE. Up to 50% of all people spend more time gaming during the lockdowns, of which the majority of them are mobile and console gamers. There are also more people watching gaming streams in the United Emirates. Up to 68% of all gamers also watch live streams of other people playing video games, which leads to other potential mental health problems and an increase in the likelihood of playing video games again. United Emirates continues to be one of the top 100 markets for the video gaming industry, and the number of gamers is still on the rise, especially after the lockdowns. Mental health experts from UAE are warning about the increase in video game addiction in the country, and one of the biggest obstacles to mental health professionals in the UAE is lack of awareness when it comes to gaming addiction. More needs to be done in spreading the word about the pitfalls and the dangers of this addiction, especially among the parents of children who play games regularly. With over 7 million gamers in the UAE, we estimate that between 137 and 210,000 Emiratis are struggling with gaming addiction. Now, we mentioned the effect of the lockdowns on gaming disorder, so now let's take a look at that in a bit more detail. Globally, 39% more time has been spent on gaming than ever before. The market value of video gaming industry has grown from 151 billion in 2019 to around 180 billion in 2021. The majority of people in the US admit to spending around 59% more time in front of screens of all types. The prevalence of gaming addiction has increased because of COVID-19. The pandemic has had a huge impact on the number of people addicted to video games. Gaming, gambling, loot boxes, mobile gaming, and excess use of screen time has soared sharply over the course of the pandemic. Now, if you want to get your gaming under control and live your life to the fullest, make sure to click the link in the description. You'll be able to check out our program and book a call directly with Cam to see if it's the right fit for you. And if you're looking for some free resources to get started on your journey, you can check out our website at gamequitters.com. Now, Did any of the statistics surprise you or shock you? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. This was Gleb, and I'll see you in the next one.